Hello there. This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So, you really seem to like my paper map of Italy that I did a week or two ago. And as I have like 100 of these maps, I thought, where should we go for number 2? And I chose the lovely country of Germany, Deutschland, because I happened to be in Cologne last weekend. Had a little holiday with my other half and my brother and my father-in-law. Went away for a little bit of a stag do. Mini stag do, because he's getting married in the summer. So we went to Cologne, and so therefore Germany was on my mind. And we had a lovely time, incidentally. It's a great place to visit. I've been there like something stupid, like 8 times. So let's have a little look around. This, for context, is the west of Germany. As you can see from all the yellow, it's a very densely populated area, not just compared to the rest of Germany, but compared to practically the rest of Europe. There was some fact about if you drew a circle over this area, which included a part of the Netherlands to the west here, this is the border, Belgium, then this area here would be like the most populated circle in the whole of Europe, single-handedly, because these are all cities and they just kind of merge onto one another. There's almost very little distinction between where one ends and the other one begins, although in footballing terms it's very important where they end and where they begin, because they're all rivals. Okay, so as I said, I was in Cologne. Cologne is one of the largest cities, one of the most populated cities in Germany. Something like 4th. I want to say that maybe Berlin, Hamburg, and, gosh, Munich are larger, but I can't quite remember. I did look it up. Bonn is here. Again, vague fact, I feel like Bonn was maybe the unofficial capital when we had West Germany and East Germany. Berlin was the capital officially, but because it was in, you had to cross the border of East Germany to get to it, I think Bonn sort of acted as the unofficial capital of West Germany for some time. Fact check me. Okay, so Aachen is here. For ages I thought Aachen was not in Germany, I thought it was in the Netherlands or Belgium or something, but yeah, it is actually on the border there. This little bit here is actually the Netherlands. It comes down and has this little thin strip of land. So this is the Netherlands, this is Belgium. And Aachen is right on the border with them both. We have Leverkusen, lots of very famous football teams. If you follow my other channel, the football channel, this is like half the league, half the well, actually, many of them are in the first division. They're all such big teams. So Bonn, Cologne, Leverkusen, Solingen, Remscheid, Wuppertal, Düsseldorf, big city, München, Gladbach, Krefeld, Duisburg, and then it becomes like this big conglomeration of cities. We have Bochum in here, Essen, Gelsenkirchen, where the football team Schalke are from, Dortmund, their rivals. We have the biggest football stadium in Europe. I want to say, no, that's not true. But they have the most sellouts per season or something. Hagen, Witten. Then we have Hamm over here, and Münster to the north. Let's look south first. Koblenz is here, and we need to look at Trier here in Rhineland. Because now we have got to the border with Luxembourg, and eventually we'll get down to France. So Luxembourg is here. Luxembourg is, I want to say that I've never said the word aloud. Duchy. D-U-C-H-Y. Duchy. So it's not, well, I don't know what extent they have. It is a democratic country, but I think they have like a duchy rather than a royal family. But then they elect their leaders, so they're not like, the duchy isn't an overlord or anything. So Luxembourg is here, and they speak several languages. They speak French, German, and they speak Luxembourgish, which is a sort of weird version of all of them. And we'll check out France in a bit, because that's on the border there. Okay, so then if we move, this is sort of like coming into the south of Germany now. Coming in, not yet. We have Frankfurt and Main. Oh yes, Frankfurt is a very large city in Germany. Then Mainz. So basically we have the river running through, and Frankfurt is one side, Mainz is the other. Wiesbaden is also here. Darmstadt and Mannheim. Honorable mentions go to Marburg, Kassel, Bad Hersfeld, Fulda, and down here Würzburg with the umlaut on the U, so it's an U, Würzburg, quite tricky. Schweinfurt, I don't know what Fürth means, maybe it means fort, but Schwein is pig in German. And if we go a little bit to the north, so Dortmund's over here, Münster, which we've already seen. We've got Paderborn here in Nordrhein-Westfalen, which is this area here. Bielefeld is just here, and Osnabrück is here. Famous for lots of British people, because they may have been brought up there. My other half was, being that there used to be areas where the British armed forces had bases, and families were brought up there with their wives, were invited over to live there. They were given a house, and children were obviously brought up there. So yeah, lots of British people actually have been brought up. I've met several. In fact, it's a weird coincidence that keeps on happening. I've met lots of people who were born or moved here as children, who were British, and have since moved back to Britain. But they grew up in one of these three places. And Hanover is over here, again another large city. Braunschweig is just peeping into shot here. Okay, let's take a look at the north. So we know that the only northern neighbour of Germany is Denmark. So we can see the border here with the Netherlands. We can see Groningen, Zwolle, Enschede. I'll do another video on the Netherlands and Belgium. Oldenburg is here. So there's a weird situation with Bremen, okay? So Bremen is its own, historically, for like industrial reasons. Bremen is its own, like, I don't know what these things are called in German, or in English in fact. In America you call them a state. In Britain we call them a county. I can't remember what they're referred to in German. Anyway, so Bremen is one. But there was a weird situation where they needed the river to get the goods that they made, I can't remember what they made, into to go off and be sold. So if I'm remembering what happened correctly, they basically like bought Bremerhaven so that they could ensure they had access to the sea from Bremen. So if you look carefully, this also has a border around it. So this here, and Bremen, and I think there might be another small one as well somewhere else. Like, it's not Cuxhaven or Wilhelmshaven, is it? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure there are 3 involved. But yeah, basically this, despite not being anywhere near that, is a part of the same state. I'm going to call it a state. Okay, just paused to do a fact check. And I am right, apparently it's just 2, there's not a 3rd. So these are, Bremen and Bremerhaven are part of the same state, or a Land, L-A-N-D, Land in German, and the other states are states. In German they're called Länder, which is the plural of land, I think, Länder. And another one of these is just up here, Hamburg, which is in itself a land or a state, but as you can see it is enormous. I think it's the 2nd largest city. Therefore Bremen is the smallest state for population in the whole of Germany, but Hamburg, despite having a similar situation, is actually one of the largest. And then we've got, I think this is going to be Lübeck popping into view here, you can barely see it. And then we've got the northern border here, Neumünster and Rendsburg, not far from Denmark. Let's just... That was Kiel. Kiel is here, Rendsburg, and then this larger area, populated area. You can always tell how big because it's yellow and large. Flensburg is right on the border here. This is Denmark to the north. And these islands are all part of Denmark. So Flensburg, and this is the state of Schleswig-Holstein. Let's do it over the map quietly, shall we? These are the islands of Denmark up here. This, however, is Germany. And yes, I believe that's Lübeck, just there. And then we have the state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern with Rostock on the north, just in from the sea. Stralsund is just on the sea. And this is the East Sea, Ostsee, or Östersjön in that's Swedish actually. Östersjön. Morze, is the Polish word for it. Because Poland starts here. So we've got Świnoujście, just there, right on the border. So we've got this in natural, well, harbour. And it's actually like got a national border through the middle of it, curiously. See Greifswald on the northern tip there. In the summer, there are lots of beach resorts up here. It's very beautiful and you can sunbathe and everything, but in the winter it's absolutely freezing. But I believe it does not freeze over. It doesn't freeze. So we can see this border here going down with Poland. We can see the massive city of Szczecin over this side of the border with Poland. We'll get back to Germany. We've got Neubrandenburg, the massive Müritz Nationalpark. But in general, I think Mecklenburg is of a low population, especially considered compared to Rhineland. Okay, and then if we just go a little bit more southerly, we can see the capital of Berlin, very massive sprawling city. Used to have a wall across it, of course, separating East and West Berlin, but thankfully does not anymore. Let's take a look at the places around it very briefly. Oranienburg, Bernau bei Berlin, and we have Frankfurt Oder, not the other Frankfurt, which is much larger. Potsdam is here, and Brandenburg is there. So you have Spandau, just that side as well. So yes, Berlin, massive city. I believe it is not just the capital, but the most populated city in Germany as well, off the top of my head. So the Berlin itself is in its own border, a bit like Washington DC and several other capital cities in the world. The Vatican City does this within Rome, which is an odd one. So yes, the state or the land around it is Brandenburg. So Brandenburg is, I think, is the capital of Brandenburg, despite not being the largest. And then Berlin itself is like an enclave within it, totally surrounded by Brandenburg. Over here, we can see Wolfsburg. That's the edge of, what city was that? Braunschweig. Magdeburg is here. Now we're in Saxony, so Sachsen-Anhalt. Schönebeck. This is East Germany now. Now economically, East Germany, because of the fact that it was a communist state for several years, suffered economically, and at least in football terms they tend to have, there's quite a lot of football teams at the top in West Germany, in what used to be West Germany, and fewer football teams in the East. Apart from Leipzig. Leipzig was bought out by the Red Bull Group, and so they are here. It's a very beautiful city actually. Chemnitz is here, Zwickau is there, Halle Neustadt and Halle are here. We can see Erfurt peeking in there, and Dresden is here. So this is in Sachsen, and now we see a different border. So this border I said was for Poland, but now here it goes into the Czech Republic. So you can see Liberec in the state of Liberecky, and Prague is a bit further over to the east. Mladá Boleslav is there. And we can see this border here with the Czech Republic, Teplice and Most, Chomutov are here. And as we go further south, we will then start to see Bavaria. Now, if I had to sum up what Bavaria was in the sense of Bavaria compared to the rest of Germany, I would say it's like Texas. In the sense that it's got its very much own personality, traditions, custom, even the German spoken there is quite different to the rest of Germany. I spent a lot of time there because I used to be a language teacher, and although I didn't teach German, I was given the job of, palmed off on me, looking after the exchange trip, and we were exchanged with a town over here somewhere called Waldsassen, and so every other year we went to Waldsassen, and every other year they came to us in Wales. We used to fly in to Prague, actually. It was easier to get to Prague and then fly across. So Nürnberg is here. You can see Fürth as well, Erlangen, Bamberg, Bayreuth, just out of sight here, Bamberg is just there, Bayreuth. Regensburg is here. Now we're in Bayern. Bayern means Bavaria. So we have Ingolstadt, Landshut, Freising, Augsburg, which is quite a large one, and of course the massive, as I said earlier on, Munich, in German is München. Dachau is here as well. And then another border, I think, within the context of Europe, Germany has the most borders of any country in Europe, off the top of my head, I would say. Because now we have Austria. And you can see Innsbruck just out of shot there. And this is Salzburg, very beautiful city on the Alps. I've been to Munich a couple of times, it is a very beautiful city. And then this is the southern border with Austria. Let's turn it over then and see the last part. South west of Germany. So we already had a look at Frankfurt and Mainz, Darmstadt, Würzburg, but now we have Ludwigshafen and Mannheim, Heidelberg, and we talked about the border with France. We got Saarbrücken here, and this here is the border with France. So Metz is just there. And Strasbourg is right here. I think before the end of the Second World War, Strasbourg might have been within the old borders of Germany, but then it got given to France, I think. Because a lot of places around here have very German names, like Molsheim, Bischwiller, Brumat, Trochtesheim, Wesselone, Malenheim. So Baden-Baden is here, so good they named it twice. Karlsruhe, Heilbronn, Ludwigsburg, Pforzheim, Sindelfingen, and the very beautiful city of Stuttgart. It's very green down here, very beautiful. You can also have a look at Ulm. Here, this is in Baden-Württemberg. Freiburg is down here as well. Have we got any more to have a look at? Tiny bit. So the last border we haven't had a look at, we saw Freiburg just here. And then this border here is with Switzerland, Schweiz. So you have Zurich and Basel just here. Lorach is on the German side. Bodensee is here. Very, very mountainous, this bottom section, lots of lakes. Very beautiful. There we are. So, I hope you've enjoyed this little journey around Germany. If you have, then why don't you click the like button just here for me. Leave a little comment, particularly commenting on any of the facts that I mentioned, and pat them out if you know a bit more than me, which you probably do. The subscribe button's over here somewhere, and I'll leave a little video here to click on, which will be similar to this one, so try that if you're still awake. I hope you're not. I hope you're fast asleep. And if you love what I do, then join me on Patreon. Quite a few people have joined this month. Welcome to all my new people, and obviously thank you to all the people who have been with me for some time. You get 2 extra videos a month on that channel, on that platform. Okay, thanks everyone, take care. Thanks for watching so much, and I'll see you again very soon, okay? As we say in German, auf Wiedersehen, bye, 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 bye.